Hello, welcome to my LTA North roster rankings video. We have 8 teams here. We're going to kind of look at it for the whole season, not necessarily winter, and then we'll look at the end of the year and see how it turned out. Um, you know, this consolidation of the LCS the last couple of years from 10 teams to 8 teams, and now essentially 7 teams plus a Latin American team has made some rosters pretty decent and strong. I mean, FlyQuest have went to, well, what? It was NRG the year before, FlyQuest last year going to quarterfinals. Schedule or not, they were able to get it done. FlyQuest went to 5 games against Gen G, and that's an accomplishment in and of itself. In the quarterfinals, came very close to going to semis. So the way I have it good, above average, average, and bad. Really, it's tougher than when I did the LEC, and actually any region in general when I did this, because I didn't want to throw below average in there and have 5 tiers for 8 teams. I think that that's really silly. At that point, I should just rank all 8 in an order, which honestly is my preference anyways, but tier lists are what people get off on, so that's what I'm ended up doing here. So we have Disguised first. We're going to work backwards. So Disguised has Castle, XU, Abadage, Scary Jerry, and Huhi. This is truly the type of roster that makes me think you took a can of paint, threw it at the wall, and see what turns out. For that, I'm going to put this under bad, because honestly, I mean, Huhi is an above, an upper half support. And, like, don't get me wrong, Castle and XU have not been on good teams in their career. So, really, like, are they decent? I mean, a lot of people want to sing XU's praises. I mean, he's an older NACL prospect who's had, I think, 2 opportunities in the LCS thus far. Like I said, not on great teams. Castle on Immortals last year left a bit to be desired, but also Immortals sucked. Abadage has been kicking around for years. Scary Jerry is a rookie. And honestly, I would have preferred Meech, but they went with Scary Jerry. So, I guess I have no expectations. So really, theoretically, I guess bad is where we start. But hey, if they end up being decent, good for them. It's just a matter of, this team just looks truly like you took a can of paint and threw it at the wall. And usually this saying has a different, reference than a can of paint. And honestly, this roster does make me feel like it is that other reference. 100 Thieves. Sniper, River, Quid, FBI, Isla. So Isla is definitely the weakest player on this team. I felt like he was the one that needed to be replaced. However, you have Quid and you have River, your 2 imports. Obviously, Quid should take the next step, continue to get better. But there is also this X factor of, hey, it's North America and the whole NA air bullshit that you hear. But just the fact that solo queue isn't as strong, the competitive nature of the LCS isn't as strong in North America as Korea. So is he going to start hitting a wall? We'll see. Sniper should continue to get better. Still one of the youngest, if not the youngest, players in LOL esports, even though he's played for a full season and he's been talked about for years. He is still like 17, 18 years old, 19, whatever, like really young. So your 2 solo laners should continue to get better. FBI and Isla should be a solid bot lane. I mean, this roster went to Worlds last year, didn't get out of play-ins. I think that it is a above average roster because of those solo laners. And I think that, well, yeah, I would say above average. I think that this team has an outside chance. I mean, the thing is, LTA is going to send 1, 1, and then 1. So, like, north, south, and then best of the rest. Are 100 Thieves in that conversation for best of the rest? I think that in this region, it's clear. In my, you need development, and honestly, we'll talk about it. So 100 Thieves need to develop to get there. You made it 3rd seed last year, but this year it's a little more competitive. I don't, I don't know. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. So TL are next. TL are, of course, one of those teams you consider under good. They're a solid team. They're a team that's in consideration for, going to Worlds. Are they the best team in the LTA North? I wouldn't quite say that, but they kept the same roster. Are Impact and Core going to continue to perform at a high level like they've done over their entire careers? I mean, eventually they're going to hit a wall. It's just a matter of when. It's not if, but when. You say, oh, well, Faker's playing, but Faker's younger than both of them. So, yeah, Faker is still playing. So, that's not the reference you really think it is. APA and Neon are at a point now where I think that they've kind of, I mean, they might get better, or they're just good, So it's kind of that deal. Umpty, I've never been like super strong on. I mean, he's toiled in bro forever, but I mean, this team's a team that could go to Worlds and be competitive. We saw it last year. Shopify Rebellion, you've got Fudge, one of the better top laners in LTA. North, if he actually decides to want to play well-rounded champions, they have a lot of potential. If he considers only, if he only wants the ego pick, that'll be a problem. That's why he lost his job. That's why C9 had always hit a wall at international events, in my opinion, was the limitations on champion selection, or at least respect to all champions, at least from an outside perspective. Contracts Palafox. We look at Contract's career, very up and down and less downs than ups. Palafox, similar deal. Sure, 2 years ago they had a nice Worlds patch, but if you look at that entire season, it does not indicate, hey, these guys were great all year. No, they were good for 2 months. So last year, they returned to Earth. They fell back down to Earth. This is what they are. This is what they've been. So there's that, and then B-Boy Seos is one of the oldest bot lane duos in the world, and I'm not enthused about this team. Some people are doing the old they have a chance thing, and I mean, hell, everybody has a chance, but realistically, nobody I think is putting anything behind that statement. It's like just saying a statement, and it's like, okay, but how certain are we about that? It's one of those things. It's hard to really go through that. So I'm putting them under average. I'm not excited about this team. I don't see this team getting better as the year goes on in terms of player by player. I think I know what all 5 of these players are. So by season's end, the difference between 100 Thieves and them is that 100 Thieves, I can see Sniper and Quid getting better. I can't see the players of Shopify Rebellion necessarily getting better as the year goes along. There's just not that's they're like, oh, well, they have a high floor. Because they're old and they are going to play. That's like Rogue. You know what? Honest to God, it might as well be Rogue. You've got Adam and Fudge. I mean, honest to God, let's be real here. That might as well be Rogue just with, Malrung obviously isn't as good as Contracts, but I'd say Larson's better than Palafox, and then bot lane duos, we can say B-Boy is better than Patrick, but I mean, it's not like it's that big of a difference over their careers. Like B-Boy, has actually never went to an international event, despite playing since 2016. At least he started his career in the Challengers. It's funny, the LCK is the only region he hasn't played in out of the, historic 4 major regions. Lion Gaming. So, Licorice, Adi, Saint, Henna, Lions. So, top lane, solid top laner in Licorice. Kind of like who he in support for Disguise. He's going to do his job. Is he going to be the best top laner in LTA North? No. But is he going to be solid? Yes. Adi, solid. Similar deal. I think he's going to be middle of the road jungler in LTA North. Saint has high potential, but played on D+ Challengers, which is historically a very strong team. I don't know why he's not on C9. It doesn't make any sense. C9 should have just opened their wallets and said, Saint, please come join your former teammate in Thanatos. But that didn't happen. Henna Lions. We have a Korean ADC coming to North America. Historically, that usually bodes pretty decent. At least at first, if not throughout the whole year. I guess Prince struggled. Henna didn't have as high highs as Prince. But he also is still kicking where Prince isn't. And Lions, a younger support. He's went to international events. I don't know. This team I have an average because of Saint and Henna, to be honest. Like, Saint and Henna are kind of why this team's average. I wonder if the Korean imports can do a lot of work. Top side of the rift should be solid. But, unlike Shopify, Saint is somebody I expect to get better over the year. It's not like, from a synergy perspective. I'm talking from a player development standpoint. Individually, I expect Saint to get better over the year. FlyQuest is a good team. I mean, they kept the same roster, and it should get better. That bot lane duo continues to grow. I think Quad is going to continue to grow, hopefully, for his sake. And, I mean, Blippo and Inspired offer those X factors in the top side of the rift that honestly are what I love about players. Like, pulling out Nunu at Worlds is a big balls play, and that's why I've always been very high on Inspired for years. Maybe over the last couple, he's fallen behind Yike or even Blabber at times and in the conversation with Razork. But historically, like, Inspired, even back when he was on Rogue, the Fiddlesticks and things like that, he is an X Factor. Whippo is an X Factor. Masu and Busio are X Factors, and Quad is as well. This team is very good. It's very good. And they have a good coaching staff with Nuke Duck and then Mithy. Everyone wants to give Mithy crap. Mithy goes to international events as a coach. I don't care. Oh, well, spring and he doesn't go to... Fuck MSI. Let's go to Worlds. You have to choose between MSI and Worlds. I think everybody's picking Worlds. So that's the thing. Dignitas. Surdy, Shiden, Kine, Tomo, Isles. So we've got a lot of development here on the top side of the rift with Surdy and Shiden. Shiden's played like a bit with EG, splitting with our Mayo 2022 summer, I believe, or 2023 summer. And then Surdy finally gets a chance. He's been on 3 or 4 different organizations, academy teams, but finally gets an opportunity with Dignitas. I mean, personally, everyone says, why did it take so long? You do wonder, why did it take so long? There's got to be something going on here that he kicked around from team to team to team and never got a chance, and now he's 22 years old and gets that opportunity. Shiden as well. Both are older prospects as far as prospects are concerned. So that's a thing. Kine in mid, think about it, he's unemployed last spring in Latin America, joins in summer, goes to Worlds, and he has a decent Worlds. Tomo had a very good return to the Rift at the LCS level last season with 100 Thieves, but before that lost his job. Isles was with Tomo when Tomo lost his job. So that's a thing. And because of that, I have this team in average. I guess I'm projecting out. I'm projecting out development for that top side of the rift. If it can develop, I am curious though. Kine is kicked around in Latin America for a while, and obviously English and Spanish are very different languages. And I do wonder what the communications were like for Kine when he was in Latin America, but that is kind of the thing here. How is the communication going to go for this squad? Because I think Shiden's from the Philippines. And I think he is an import, but he's from the Philippines. So obviously we have, how's this communication going to work? So that is the thing. Dignitas I have average. And C9 I have as above average with 100 Thieves. So potential for Cloud9. Loki in mid. Can he continue to develop? Thanatos in top lane continues to develop. Similar to 100 Thieves, we have these two teams. They're very similar in how I view them. Those solo laners, if they develop and continue to develop, they are upper 4 teams. Like, that's kind of the way you got to... I'm looking at this right now. We got the two teams that we know who they are. This team can continue to get better. This team, I think, is kind of where it's going to be. These two teams, the reason why they're above these guys is because I think these guys have the potential to develop more so than these teams do. Lions have Saint, but that's not enough. Dignitas have Surdy and Shiden, which takes them from here to here. Shopify do not have anybody that I see getting better throughout the season from a player development standpoint. They are who they are. So if they end up getting up into here somehow, it's personally for me, it's not going to be because the players are getting better. It's because these teams did not improve like I expected them to improve. If that makes sense. That makes sense. So, thank you for watching. If you liked the video, like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter. Join the Discord. Become a YouTube supporter. And hope to see you again tomorrow.